I really enjoy coming here, and I also have been, by coming here, part of 2 decades development here in Valkenswaard, which is, I must say, really respect to Jan and his team, what they did, what they built up, improved year by year, always themselves putting a lot of pressure up to improve things, get better and get better. And when you see finally here this year with the improvement behind the curtains there, with a new stable area for the horses and the riders and the grooms, the facilities, the logistics is unbelievable.
Now podium time, champagne blasting time. In 3rd place, Ludger Beerbaum. Well, just over halfway through in this marvellous series of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We're here at Valkenswaard, where it all started. I'm very fortunate to have the outstanding rider, Ludger Beerbaum, sitting here with me. Ludger, these Longines Global Champions Tour shows, they just get better and better, you know. I mean, you've been involved very much in the last couple of jump-offs, and I think the one in Chantilly was as good a jump-off as you'd ever see, although there were only 4 competitors in it. There were 4 world-class riders, and it was a magic class.
Yeah, it was a fantastic class itself, and as you said, we've been 4 in the jump-off. I didn't have probably the luckiest draw in going first of the 4, but my horse was in outstanding form, and I think I got everything really right forward, except this second last turn, or the turn to the second last fence, where I rode a bit aggressive and then he really slipped. And I think that cost me the win probably, but nevertheless the horse stayed on his legs. We jumped home clear, and he didn't hurt himself. And then finally Hendrik, my colleague, finished 2nd. So looking back, it was a great Grand Prix.
I think you were very unfortunate, really. I thought you did marvellous to finish 2nd, because you're only about a 1.5 behind the winner anyway. And it looked to me as if you were nearly ready to get off at one stage.
Yeah, exactly. I had my foot out of the stirrups and the reins were gone. I also had the feeling, you know, in the next second I'm on the floor, but somehow he made it to get back up on his 4 legs, and then we continued. So, you know, you always have to judge it. And the reality was we were quite lucky to stay up, you know, and then to be 4th.
So you're unlucky there, but yesterday another very good jump off. You know, different horse, Chamon in Chantilly and Chiara here. 2 different sorts of horses, you know. I mean, you came up against a very fast horse yesterday in Codex. He's a naturally quick horse, isn't he?
Yes, definitely. But also I must say Christian is a very fast rider, one of the fastest around, really. And there's no excuse other than in Chantilly, where I was first to go yesterday. Christian was right in front of me. I was watching him. And watching him, it didn't look really crazy fast, and I was quite confident that there was a chance to go faster. But not having the adrenaline really high up, I started to jump off a little bit too calm and quiet.
First 3.
And I thought I can make it up to the last one. I really ran down to the last one, but it was too late. So that's it. I can't blame anybody else than me for that.
Every one of these Champions Tour Grand Prix is like an Olympic Games. I mean, nobody knows Olympics better than you, but it's all Olympic standard, like jumping off for a gold medal, isn't it?
Yeah, I must say also the standard has grown tremendously, and every single event we see the top guys, top horse rider combinations. We have nice variety, grass arenas, sand arenas. But really we've seen each event top sport.
You know, I mean, yours is a remarkable story, really. 30 years at the very top. I suppose, you know, there was a lot of good things in between then, but it must have been next up Barcelona. That was a memorable one too, wasn't it?
Yes,
Classic
that
touch.
was a disastrous Nations Cup. I think we finished 11th or something. And
you have the broken bridle.
In the second round, after number 3, my hackamore broke, and I was trying to stop her, but she kept on running, and I jumped off. And I really thought that was it. But at that time there was a different modus, because there were 2 qualifiers, the Nations Cup and another class. So with jumping a clear round in the other class and 1 clear round in the first round of the Nations Cup. I just was 44th qualified, and 45 were qualified for the final day. Yeah, and then in the final day I was the only one to jump 2 double clears, which ended up in the individual goal.
I remember you turning inside a big vertical fence to win it. You took a line that nobody else had taken, if I remember right.
Yes, and also, if I'm really honest now, I did it by mistake. That
is honest.
It wasn't a plan, honestly, believe me. The time was really tight.
Yeah.
And this Sunday in Barcelona was just, in the morning we had a big thunderstorm, and the starting order was drawn. And I was drawn, luckily, in the second half. If I would have drawn in the first half, that was it, like what happened to Jos with Egano. The whole Sand arena was underwater, and the horse didn't want to, he really was scared in the water. He stopped 3 times. He's never stopped before on the wall. So I went in the second draw when the sun was out, the ground was nice, and I could jump my clear round. And then there was 4 clears in the first round, and the starting order was again drawn in the second round, in the faults. And I was drawn from the clear rounds last. And I've seen a lot of other guys having time faults, and especially Pete with Ratina. I had a quarter time fault with one of the fastest horses at the time.
Pete Raymakers.
It really winded me up, and then I thought, I have to make sure every single turn, take the first distance, don't wait, don't mess about. And then I jumped the triple, which was a little bit the joker line in the second round. And I just thought, don't go too far out, and I ended up going in between to this next fence. And I was shocked myself a little bit on the approach, because I really came on an angle like this. But anyway, I made the time and I was clear, and that was it. I was
commentating on it. It looked pretty good to me, and I didn't know it was a mistake, so I won't tell anybody, okay? You're number 3 in the world still, which is remarkable, and there's only 2 guys in front of you, 2 young guys, Scott Brash and Ben Mayer. They were born into the Longines Global Champions Tour age, and latterly the Furaccia age of the Furaccia FEI Nations Cup Series. An awful lot of money coming to the job over the last few years. You were born into a totally different era. You must have seen vast changes in the sport in the last 30 years.
Yes, absolutely. I remember 3 decades ago it was different. The starting field was half, if not less, a third, or some big shows even a quarter. There was probably always 3 or 4 able to win at the time. Not talk about the facilities and the prize money anyway. Everything was a little less. And
there was no prize money for Nations Cups in those days, was there? You got a rosette and a well done if you were lucky.
Yeah, somehow like that. And if you look today, it's unbelievable. I think we have, yesterday we had almost 50 starters, and you really know that 40 are able on the right day to win. And then if you see the surroundings, if you see the footing, if you see the facilities behind the curtains, stabling, warm-up arena, not just 1, 3 or 4, not only in these shows, but in general, things have improved so much. And thank God also the media and the prize money, of course. The sport has a much higher value, and it's just really, really fantastic. And for me, one of the older guys around, it's really nice to be part of it.
Yes, I mean, you've been quoted as saying this is one of, if not your favourite show. Would that be true? Because you've seen this grow from 1 row of stables, haven't you, over the last 20 years?
That is true. I've always, in the first time I've been asked this question, it was about the global tours. This is my favourite show, because coming from Germany, you don't have to forget Aachen, which is, in your home crowd, home turf, so to say. No, but I really like coming here because it's a really fantastic show in the main ring, behind the curtains. On the other rings, you can bring up young and up-and-coming horses. You can scout a lot of horses here.
Scout a lot of horses. You would buy a horse or 2 here from the.
Even we've done some business in all these years. Sold and bought some, and things are going on here. It's horse industry pure on this show.
Yeah, yes, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Really, but we've talked about the evolution of Valkenswaard, and I mean, let's just go back to the Olympics again, because it's an interesting era. You were gold again in Atlanta on Ratina's head, having won a World Cup final on the way there. You know, when I was in your yard a few years ago, you had a life-size statue over there. Presumably, you still have it. Was she your favourite horse, or was she the best you ever rode, or is that a politically incorrect question to ask?
No, it's not politically incorrect. No, no, not at all. She was definitely one of the best. It's very hard to say which one was really the best, because I have been in the lucky position to have quite a lot of really, really nice horses. And to say whether Ratina or Classic Touch or even Gold Fever, you know, it's hard to say. They've been all different. One was a bit more winner, the other one was probably a bit more classic. And it's a little bit like asking what is your favorite kid, you know. I really like them all, and for sure Ratina was outstanding, no question. But
one of a few, but a very memorable one. Did she breed anything of any note? Did she go on to breed?
She has a couple of offsprings already. She had 2 before she started her career, when she was young, 4 and 5, at the time in Sangersheide. And then when she finished, she had a couple of embryos there with Mr. Melchior in Sangersheide. 1 or 2 is also in the sport. I think Julian rides one. It's Crown is his name. It's a nice horse. And then finally, she had one very late when she was 23. The horse Markus Ening is riding now, Comme il faut. He's by Kornet Obolinski, and it's a freak of a horse.
Really?
Yes.
It almost reproduced herself.
Yes, yes. It's a really fantastic horse, a really sharp, really fast winner.
What age?
He is now, I think, 9.
So one to watch out
he's
for.
He's won already a few 150s and has been placed in Dortmund Grand Prix, and I think we'll see him soon.
Yeah. Team gold again in Sydney 2000, another memorable Olympics. Who were you riding for then? When did Paul Schockemoeller come into the scene, or was it we
Paul
passed him?
Started in Mühlen in 85 until 89. And then from 89 to 94, I've been in South Germany. I had a great sponsor, Mr. Moxel, company Moxel, together with Mr. Schneider, who was head of the board of the company. We had 5 really successful years. That's when I won Barcelona, when I won the World Cup final. And when I got all these horses, Ratina, Classic Touch, it was really a fantastic time. And since 95, I'm up back north, home in Westphalia, near Münster, on my own yard.
And at what period did you start to ride for Madeleine Winter-Schulze?
She came then after that time in Munich. Since 94 we met. We started to have 2 horses together. I rode for her 2 horses, and then end of 94, since then we are working very, very closely together. It's a great relation. It's a very, I could almost say, a family relation. We've had so many horses in the past, now 20 years. She really trusts in what we are doing in our yard, myself of course, but also Marco, who's now decided to go on his own, but Henrik, Philipp Weishaupt, you know, she's very, very supportive. And without her, we couldn't do all what we are doing today.
What do you look for, Ludger, when you're buying a potential horse? You know you're going to be outside in that with the amateur riders there, or the 115, 125 classes. What will you look for in a horse?
Yeah, first, of course, you should know for what customer you want the horse, you know, because for sure, if I look for a horse for a junior or a young rider, I look for probably a little bit different to what I look if I look for something for myself or for the boys, Henrik or Philipp. In general, you want a horse with class, which means nice rideability, careful, blood, to be able also to go fast and win. But one thing which probably you don't see in the first approach, which is the key question later on to be really successful, is the good mentality and the good mind. We call it also smart, the clever horse. But that, of course, you only realize after a while of working with them.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be rideable, don't they? Because, I mean, it's all about putting the horse on the best spot to produce its best jump from, isn't it, really? You know, and if you can't control them, you're not going to arrive at that spot. You know, to me, your horses all seem to be the horses you've ridden, like Shaman Kiara and various other horses over the last few years, of a similar type. You get them all going pretty well the same way. They never look extravagant, but they look very efficient, and they always have a good technique. You never see them wild or, you know, okay, Gotha could be, you know, a little bit headstrong, and we can talk about her briefly if you like, but, you know, they all seem to be well disciplined and doing the job well within themselves.
Yeah, that's what we try to get and to achieve. But in a way, they are still a little different. Of course, it's a little bit my way to keep it calm and as smooth as possible. But if, for example, we just compare the two horses, Shaman and GER, they are different. Shaman is very classic, very good in balance, really good educated, and you could also ride him dressage test if you want to. GER is a little different. She likes to have the head up, and she doesn't like to control too much. Even though she is a German horse, Holstein, she wants to be ridden a bit more, you know, the forward way and not too collective. And that's what I try. I try to find the position where the horse feels most comfortable, and then in that gear exercise and train and ride.
You can't ride them all the same, can you? You have to. You have a ride a horse in a way that suits it. Sometimes if you over-govern them, you take half the jump away, don't you?
Yes, you take a lot of distraction, and you take a lot of focus away. That's one of the key questions in my opinion, that it's all about staying focused, making sure you have the horse's attention, and then the horse should focus to the jumps and to the technical questions in the ring.
They have to listen to you.
And exactly, they have to listen, but in the same time, don't take the attention also away and the focus away to the jumps. You know, once you have control, it's fine, and then you should really make sure the horses are staying focused and don't interrupt too much.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think, do you have, and it's well chronicled that you have a very big stable, you have maybe 5 or 6 riders apart from yourself, and do you have any flat work riders to do the dressage with the horses?
No, we're all doing the flat work in a way ourselves. We have every now and then a trainer coming to look for all of us, but that's maybe a day a month or 2 days a month, or when we are gone for quite a while from one show to the next and are not at home for a while, then he's coming. But basically all the riders are doing the flat work themselves.
When I have a bit of time spare in the morning at a World Cup show or whatever, I enjoy to go down and watch riders like yourself, and particularly Marcus Eining, Kevin Stout. I mean, it's an unbelievable standard, the degree of flat work that they achieve, isn't it, really? The way you get your horses balanced and supple and lengthening, shortening, turning right and turning left, which, after all, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. But also there, I think you have to be aware that, you know, we have a saying in Germany, there's many ways to roam. In the end, of course, the horse needs to listen and to function, lengthen, shorten, all this. But if you even see a guy like Kevin Stout or Marcus Eining, the way to get there, they are different, completely different. You know, Marcus is a bit more the German way, really dressage, really wants the horse to listen. Kevin is a little bit more the French style, long neck. And then again, Christian is different, Daniel is different. So it's really interesting to see how each individual gets its way with a particular horse.
How do you, I mean, we've seen tremendous changes, of course, as we've talked about the jumping series, the money that's come into the sport. Show jumping has just gone through the roof the last year or two. Horses have changed a lot. You can breed a show jumper more than ever these days. Where's it all going to end? Where's it going from here, do you think? You'd think, can it get any better? It surely can, possibly, but in which direction? Yeah,
no, I think there's still, if you're very critical with yourself and with the details, there's still a lot to improve. Even in riding, I mean, I would say even in the last 5 years, from 5 years on, not to talk about 30 years, we've improved a lot of things, you know. Our horses are kept better, they have better environment, better boxes, better air, much better quality of food, much better blacksmith, much better therapeutical care in veterinarian aspect. Even the riding and the education is much finer and a lot less, you know, aggravation and muddling around. And there's still, I mean, if you're really critical, watch the Grand Prix yesterday, you could tell every single one, including me, Christian and Hendrik, what to improve. No question. If you to end up in perfect harmony, we still have 30 years in front of us.
You're a very fit...
Me not, because I will not ride that anymore, but probably some of the young guys.
I don't know, you'll be around for a while yet. You're a very fit 50-year-old. I mean, does the riding keep you fit, or do you do any training at all?
Yeah, no, one thing is for sure the riding keeps you in a way fit, if you want to say fit. But of course I need to do also a little bit more than just riding, because otherwise I would be stiff, and also, you know, I need to watch out what I eat, try and eat a bit healthy, don't drink, do some exercise. I run 2-3 times a week, just you know, to keep myself a little bit fit. And what you ask from your horse, you should also be able to deliver yourself, I think.
And what does Ludger Beerbaum do for relaxation, for enjoyment, apart from take all the business away, which is a lot of pressure?
The quality time for me to relax is really the time with the family, I must say. To have a day off and go with the family, I don't know, to swim or to do something with the kids, or to go and watch a nice football game, that's something really relaxing.
English wife now,
yes.
2 small kids.
Very happy, yes. 2 kids with 2 German and English passports. It's actually really entertaining, and just by the way, I think it's also improved a little bit. I know it's also not still good enough, but my English is better since then.
Your English is fantastic. World Equestrian Games next, obviously. You've already been selected with GER, and tell us a bit about that.
Yes, that's the challenge ahead of us. Of course, I think we'll have a pretty strong team with Daniel, Markus Ening, Christian Amann, myself. If everything goes right until then, of course, we have to have the horses fit and in good shape, but I think we really do have a good chance. If these 4 are in their best form, I think we have a chance to defend the title. But okay, things can happen. I think there's a couple of other strong teams, like the French for sure in the home country, the English definitely, and 1 or 2 which probably I don't have in mind. I think there's 5 or 6 teams able to win, but it's still another good 4 weeks, and
it's a long time.
We need to get it right at the time.
And then looking ahead, next stop Rio, hopefully. Only 2 years, you'll still be around. The press tend to write you off and say, when is Ludger retiring? I don't want to retire. I want you to retire. I know that a lot of other people don't either.
No, probably not. But anyway, I think I will not ride too long anymore. My plan was to retire or to stop after London. But then things in 2012 came different than I was expecting. Gotha at the time, I had a quite nasty fall in the German Championships. And then I decided to not go to London because she was a bit scared for a couple of months. And then I didn't really want to finish like that. And then I said, okay, I signed the contract another 4 years until Rio, with myself, exactly. And that's the plan till now. So Rio, yes, if everything goes right, and that's the goal. But after, I think it will be time to stop.
Well, it's been a remarkable story for the last 30-odd years, Ludger. I hope it goes on for a lot longer then. You know, there's so many things coming on into the sport. I mean, for example, Shanghai was a wonderful venue, you know, and I mean, it must keep, guys like you, must keep you fresh to want to go and achieve goals like riding in places like that, or all these other wonderful venues here. Aren't we lucky to be here and be taking part in an event like this?
Yes, definitely. I mean, the event itself is one thing, but just to imagine if somebody would have said in 5 years you will travel to a developing country in that aspect, China, to go with our horses to China, I would have said, no way. We couldn't even do it for the Olympics in 2008. We had to go to Hong Kong at the time. We were not allowed to compete in Beijing. And now to be able to go from Europe with our horses and to compete in Shanghai, it's really something. It's a milestone in my point of view. And then coming there, and then from the first event on to have a show like, you know, really, really good, perfectly organized, run smoothly, new audience, of course, new surrounding, in the middle of Hong Kong there. It was an unbelievable experience.
And you know, I mean, the very title Longines Global Champion Tour, it's going to go to other parts of the world in the next few years, isn't it? And very few years away, I would say.
Yes, I very much think so. I'm not involved in the plans, but when you hear and listen and read now that there's also an American investor interested in the Global Champions Tour, I think it's just a question of time when, for sure, we will also go to the other continent, North or South America. Yeah, it's growing, it's developing, and as I said, it's nice to be part of it.
You can't leave an ascending star like this so soon, can you?
Not really, but anyway, you have to be realistic. I think the sport will continue with or without me. Yeah. And if I then have a couple of horses and can support a couple of young, hopefully talented riders, it's also in a way very rewarding, and I will be as motivated in that role as I am today as a rider.
When you've got riders of the calibre of Hendrik von Eckermann and Philipp Weishout and one or two other riders like, until very recently, Marco Kuchar, it's going to be very easy for Ludger, the trainer, just to make the seamless transition and be still involved in this wonderful series and everything else that show jumping has to offer.
Yes, that's what I think so, and also, you know, it's...
That is the answer, yes. Ludger, thank you so much for your time. Brilliant, interesting conversation with you, as ever. And I hope it goes well for you, not only for the rest of this year, but for several years to come. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Thanks.